Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is episode number 2 of the Last Fan Standing Wrestling Podcast with the boys that bring you the world-famous No Holds Barred podcast. It is Justin and Nick. What's up, sir?
Nicely.
Yeah, it's not bad,
I
eh?
like that. That
Telling
was like almost like we have professional guy down here
I know.
doing it.
It's almost like it's someone that's in their right mind. So again, this is episode number 2 of the Last Fan Standing podcast, and we have a lot to talk about, all really based around the Royal Rumble.
What a disappointment.
Well, you know what? In a lot of ways it was, and actually, I guess before we get into it, maybe we should talk about a couple of quick things from Raw. Again, just very, very informal sort of things. Trish Stratus was named the next inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame, which is phenomenal.
Congrats.
She should have been in a while ago.
Most definitely.
In my opinion, and this is no disrespect intended to women like the Fabulous Moolah or Mae Young or even Alundra Blaze or Bull Nakano or any of those other female performers that were very, very good in their time. As far as I'm concerned, nobody touches Trish Stratus, because not only was she one of the best valets of all time, I also think she's clearly one of the best in-ring female talents that we've ever seen on a major stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most definitely.
She's one of the few that she could have gone into the Hall of Fame just as a valet, but she is going in as a wrestler as well. So she
should.
Absolutely.
I mean, she's won how many Divas titles?
6 or 7, I think.
Yeah. It's just like there's nobody that can touch her in the ring for the Divas division.
No, and you gotta remember too, when you're kind of putting her in context, she was wrestling at a time when there were a lot of really good female wrestlers. We're talking about Lita, Ivory, Jacqueline, Tori. Like, she was at a time when there were good in-ring wrestlers. Trish is head and shoulders above all of them. So I'd actually like to see Lita be the one to put her in, because Lita was like her biggest opponent throughout the year. So I'd really like to see Lita be the one to put her in, but it'll be interesting to see.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, but she joins Chris Jericho and Bob Backlund as the 3 inductees into the Hall of Fame so far.
Won't get to know until the day before WrestleMania to know who actually officially puts her in.
I think it'll be announced
the night before WrestleMania.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame induction ceremony is the night before WrestleMania. I think they'll announce beforehand who inducts them, but at the same time, it's like I say, it was a big honor for her, clearly, to get in, and she absolutely deserves it.
Most absolutely.
And she's Canadian, so that can't hurt.
Whoa.
What else from Raw? The Rock and CM Punk's promo on each other was, if anything, CM Punk, and it's scary to think about it in these terms, if anything, CM Punk is getting better on the mic.
Oh, most definitely.
Like, he's at the point now where he's kind of half losing his mind, I think, almost, where with what happened at the Rumble, and we'll be talking about that.
I think he would, because God knows, I mean, The Rock isn't going to wrestle, and CM Punk is just like, give me back the belt.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, let me do something with it, than just sitting back and twiddling my fingers while you come out here and do your Rock shows every night.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair enough, exactly. But no, their promo on each other I thought was very, very good. What else? The promo at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Were you still awake for this?
I was.
Okay, right on. So the promo at the end of the night was Vince McMahon brings Paul Heyman out to do a personal performance evaluation or something like that.
Yeah.
Or personal performance review or whatever.
It was a review.
So he's basically being like, "Oh, Heyman, you're a douchebag, and I have evidence that you were in league with Brad Maddox and The Shield," and he shows a video, and Paul's like, "That wasn't me," which I thought was really, really funny, because it's like, very fucking clearly is Paul Heyman. Yeah. He's like, "We're in Vegas. Vegas is full of impersonators," but the video had been done like months before. It's like, Paul, it's gonna be kind of difficult for you to.
It is. Oh,
can you guys
got to turn down your sound?
Yeah, you might have heard a little advertisement in the background there. Oopsie. Anyways, watch us not be able to monetize on YouTube because of that. That would piss me right off. But yeah, so Heyman comes out and Vince is like, "You were doing all this," and he's about to fire him when fucking Broccoli Lesnar's music hits.
You think he would make his return at WrestleMania?
Well, I would have thought if you're going to make your return at the Rumble. But I guess, it has a bit of a bigger impact now given everything that happened at Royal Rumble and stuff like that. So anyways, it worked for me. And I know some people are like, I remember reading a tweet from Jimmy Corderas when we were sort of bitching and complaining about what happened at the Rumble. And he was like, the same people that are mad about The Rock winning the title are the people that wanted to see Brock Lesnar. And I was just like, but it's not the point. No. Lesnar doesn't have the belt.
Right.
Like, I got nothing against part-timers. Like, I love me some Chris Jericho. I know he's not here for very long, but I love me some Chris Jericho. But he doesn't have the belt.
No.
So, I mean, you're talking about a part-timer.
Not going to have the belt.
No, exactly. But you're talking about a part-timer with the belt. But, we'll get into that a little bit more. But anyways, Brock Lesnar came down, and I loved Heyman's theatrics just get on another level, man. They're so good. And Heyman's just like, he's in the corner and he's got his head in his hands, but he's not talking to Brock. He's talking to Vince, but he doesn't have a microphone. But he's still talking loud enough that you can hear him. And he's just like, Vince, please get out of the ring. Vince, please leave the ring. It just is like Brock's just like walking him down, and you hear Heyman, Vince, please get out of the ring. So his theatrics are so good, and he's so funny. But so Brock grabs Vince and F5s him.
Yep.
And I mean, good on Vince for taking that bump, because Vince is whatever he is now, mid to late 60s, and
he's getting up there.
Taking an F5 is a pretty solid bump there, VKM. So that was a high point of Raw for sure, and the crowd blew up when Brock's music hit. They loved it.
Yeah. I'm still I don't like Brock.
No, fair enough. I don't like his in-ring work. I'm excited when I see him, because I think they can do good things with him. Hopefully he spent this past 6 months or whatever
training,
practicing his wrestling. Not his MMA wrestling, his professional wrestling.
Yep.
But anyways, let's get on to the main topic here. The main topic, of course, is the Royal Rumble. Now, just a little bit of preamble to this before we really get into it. Nick, you and I and a mutual friend of ours, Tyler, ordered the pay-per-view, watched it at my house, ordered pizza.
Good pizza.
Which is good pizza.
Excellent pizza.
I had it for lunch again yesterday, and I was so good. So yeah, we ordered pizza, and we watched the pay-per-view. As I've said before, Royal Rumble, one of only 2 pay-per-views that I will actually order.
Yeah.
I'll actually spend money on it rather than streaming it, because I'm Canadian. So we watched it, and I had to say the general feeling of it was that we were fairly disappointed in the show.
Yeah.
And we seemed to be in the minority with that opinion.
There was one point where I just got so fed up. It's just like, I'm going out for food.
You almost rage quit life.
I didn't know what to say.
Was that at the end of the Rumble or at the end? Yeah, at the end of at the end of the Rumble.
Yeah.
You rage, or right before the Rumble or something like that. But you fucking rage quit life. Like you were so. This kid was. There's been very few times when I've seen this kid like visibly upset. And I didn't see him because he was in another room, but just based on the tone of his voice and the things that he was saying, I was like, this has fundamentally gotten to you. And like it bugged me and Tyler too, but your reaction was just fucking priceless.
It bugged me. And I mean, we paid for a show, and it's just like people in creative fucking smacked us in the faces.
Yeah, it's true. Fair enough. But let's get into this and just sort of go over the results here. We'll start with the match that was on the pre-show, which was The Miz versus Antonio Cesaro for the United States Championship. Now this was actually a pretty good match that we got for free, which was good. There was a lot of back and forth in it. Both guys had the advantage at different points in the match, which is always nice to see. Because you don't want to see, even on a pre-show match, you don't want to see somebody get squashed. Because it's just like, what's the point of watching? So it was good. It was a competitive match. It was very back and forth. It was mostly Cesaro. Like Cesaro hit a bunch of power moves and stuff like that. He had that really cool. Do you remember that really cool backbreaker that he had on Miz? Like he just caught Miz at midair and like flipped him and nailed him with that backbreaker.
Oh yes,
that was pretty sweet. At one point in the match, Miz jumps off the top rope and appears to injure his knee or his ankle or something like that. It did not look good. It looked like
one leg went out sideways and the other one just like meh.
It looked like torn ACL City is what it looked like. It was not good.
It was definitely like a sprain or something.
Yeah, exactly. Cesaro, of course, taking advantage of that eventually and hitting the neutralizer for the pinfall victory. So Cesaro,
the neutralizer, which was more on the knees, but he meant to do that.
Oh my god, the commentary team. I don't know who it was with Stryker, because like on the pre-show it wasn't the main commentary team. It was Matt Stryker and somebody else, and whoever the other guy was just like selling it hardcore that like, because like when Cesaro did the neutralizer, the opponent's supposed to land face first, like the pedigree.
Yeah.
But Miz didn't. Miz turned his hips. So like he landed on his hip and his legs. The commentary was like, oh my god, Cesaro meant to do that. He targeted the knee. It's like, no, it's a semi-botch. It's like Miz didn't land the move the way that you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Something maybe he didn't think Cesaro had a good grip on him or something, so like natural recourse is to not land on your face.
Oh, definitely.
So, I mean, maybe he just did that, but like commentary tried to play it up. But what I thought was so funny about it was when they reviewed the pre-show later in the pay-per-view, Cole completely no-sold that idea. He was just like, oh, look here, he hits the neutralizer. And he's like, oh, then he lands face first. And it's like, you just no-sold what your commentary team was trying to sell us like 20 minutes beforehand.
There were so much botches in this.
You know what? In the commentary, there really was. But yeah, there was a couple of visible botches in the in-ring work, but there was a couple of like real bad botches on commentary, and that's just one of my sort of general notes there. That just at times I thought the commentary on the show was really, really bad.
It was.
And what really bugs me is like numerous times these guys botched either names or moves or something like that.
Yeah.
And I can't stand this bickering between JBL and Michael Cole, because it's like what it used to be when Cole was like a straight heel announcer and bickering with Lawler. It's what it was, but it's so much more annoying. They're like two little brothers.
It is.
That are jealous of each other.
I mean, I don't like JBL to begin with.
No.
For a announcer. I mean, he was okay as a wrestler, but for an announcer, he talks about nonsense, not about the match most of the time.
Yeah.
And he's like, blah, 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 and Friday nights we fight, and Monday nights, and fucking all this other crap. That's useless. True. Why not like call the matches instead of...
Yeah, fair enough. And it's kind of reflective of this whole 3-person commentary team that they do. Yeah. I just think 3 people on commentary is too much.
It is.
I think it just gets crowded because nobody really knows, like, okay, well, who's doing play-by-play here and who's doing color.
Yeah.
Like that's why a 2-person commentary team works so much better. You have somebody who's your Jim Ross, and Jim Ross is your play-by-play.
Yeah.
And you have somebody like the King, and the King is your color. And that's the synergy there is so good, but with a 3-person team, it's like you have split those 2 jobs up between 3 people, and it doesn't.
It does not really work at all.
A couple
not
other
at all.
No, and most of the time it just really doesn't. A couple more sort of general notes before we get into any specifics of the other matches. we both kind of noted this when we were watching the show. Whatever happened to the Royal Rumble numbers being random?
I know.
Like after Team Hell No's tag match, Vicky comes in and is like, "Hey guys, here's your numbers, like in a card or something," and it's just like, so you give them their numbers. Like I always thought the Rumble numbers were supposed to be random.
Yeah, like they came in and drawed it.
Right.
Like I have no idea where that. Although,
yeah,
what made sense in this Rumble?
Well, very, very, very little.
Seriously,
very little
what made sense in
this fucking show. But I tell you one thing that did make sense, and one thing that I really, really liked, the whole NXT tournament, like the 8-man tournament for one of the NXT rookies to win a spot in the Rumble.
Yeah,
fantastic. I love that. I love that, the idea of that so much. And I hope they keep up with it. If they keep NXT, I hope they keep up with that in the future, because it's cool. It gives us somebody that, if you don't watch NXT, you've never seen it before. And like they're doing things to make Bo Dallas, who was the name of the guy that won the tournament, they're doing things to make him sort of semi-relevant. Like now they seem to be giving him a feud with Wade Barrett, who he eliminated in the Rumble. It makes him relevant, which is kind of cool. It could draw some more eyes to NXT. So,
most definitely.
And as we said on the first episode of the podcast, NXT is arguably the best show that they do. So the more people that watch NXT, the better.
1,000%.
Exactly. So, all right. So we talked a little bit about that bullshit. So now we'll get into the actual matches.
Okay. First match we have here was Alberto Del Rio,
or as JBL likes to call him, Alberto Del Rio.
Del Rio. He can't
pronounce the L's
at all.
Nope.
Versus the Big Show in a last man standing match.
Exactly. The last man standing match for the World Heavyweight Championship
that we've seen.
If this feels familiar, it's because they put this match on free TV 3 weeks ago. All right. You know what? The match itself was not bad. I can't say that the match itself was poor. It was a different match than the one that they put on SmackDown 3 weeks ago. They did different things. They had some decent high spots in it.
Did they do different things? I mean, the Big Show dominated. He threw friggin' Del Rio out of the ring. He picked up the stairs, but this time he didn't hit Del Rio. He threw the stairs instead of charging at him.
So it shows he learned.
But, I mean, before that, everything was basically the same, and then it ended with Ricardo Rodriguez? Yeah, duct taping Big Show to the ring.
Yeah, that was the end of it. But but prior to the ending, no, honestly, I didn't, like I say, I didn't think it was a bad match. Pre-match, we should make a point. Before the match started, Del Rio and Rodriguez were walking through the back, and Del Rio was like, "Oh, don't worry, I beat him once, last man standing, I can do it again." And Bret Hart was there.
Yeah.
And Bret Hart smashes Del Rio over because he's like, I look at you and I think, when I look at you, I see a Mexican Bret Hart. And it's just like, okay, I get that you're like really trying to smash Del Rio over as this babyface, but I don't think Del Rio has earned that. That much praise, like saying like, "Oh, you're a Mexican Bret Hart." And it's just like, well, instead of the sharpshooter, I guess it's called the taco shooter. Maybe. I don't know, but
that sounds good. Though.
That sounds good. Sounds yummy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't think that didn't work for me. I didn't think Del Rio has earned the moniker of like a Mexican Bret Hart. But anyways,
give him 10 more years and then maybe.
Yeah, that's sort of just me being a bleeding heart. But I don't know. I didn't think it was whatever. But like Nick said, Big Show did dominate the majority of the match. One of the high spots that I thought was really, really good was when Big Show pulled Del Rio up onto the staging, like by the ramp, and threw him off the staging through the table. I actually thought that was going to be the finish.
Me too.
I thought the match was over, and then Del Rio, Mexican superhero.
He gets up. And Big Show's like, I gotta get down from
and this is the comment that like all three of us made when we were watching the Rumble. It's like, how the fuck's Big Show gonna get down from there? Like he's not up real high, but I mean he's 480 pounds. Like how the hell's he gonna get down from there? I was thinking like, oh, frog splash, here it comes. No, but so I mean, you know, that was a good high spot at least. It was a similar match, like you say. There was a lot of the same sort of spots that were done, but one spot that was super dumb, and I know you know what I'm going to say here. Putting Big Show's arm in the top of the steps and using the steel chair to hit it.
Yeah, that made
super
absolutely
dumb.
No sense at all.
Super dumb.
I mean, it doesn't even hit him.
No, not like. If the stairs would have been flat, it would have made sense. But he put it in that like V in the back of the steps where his arm is laying there. The chair has to hit like a good foot away from Show's actual arm, but he's got to sell it because you know he can't just no sell because he's not Cena. So I mean he's I don't know. It just that just really didn't work for me. But again, some of the high spots were fairly good. Decent match. Couldn't help but feel like it was similar to the one that they put on free TV.
Yeah.
Now, the duct tape finish, you mentioned it. The way that they finished the match, which was Del Rio had Big Show in the cross arm breaker, which as we know is just an arm bar. And Ricardo Rodriguez grabs a roll of duct tape. And he's duct taping Big Show's feet to the bottom rope so he can't stand up. Because you have to stand up to break the 10 count.
Yeah.
It's good and bad. Because, you know, it's unexpected. Like, you don't expect to see that. It's not every day that it's just like, oh my God, he's going to use duct tape and duct tape his legs. So it's unexpected, which is good. But it's kind of hard to make that look good. Like, I mean, Big Show is almost 500 pounds, is full of power. But you're telling me he can't get his legs away from Ricardo Rodriguez?
It's true.
Like,
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to play it up that I was in so much pain from the armbar that just
maybe
he did not notice.
Yeah, it could have been.
You know?
It could have been.
Yeah. Possibly.
It's possible. You know, it's just like, it's hard for us to sit here and try to think about, oh geez, what's WWE thinking when they're doing this? Because they're so ADHD that it's really hard to tell. But you know, like I said, it's a hard finish to make look good. I like Del Rio as champion. I'm glad he held on to the title because, like, if you're going to do a title change on free TV, which they did, don't do a title change again 3 weeks later on pay-per-view.
Almost definitely.
So I liked the fact that he held on to the title. So we're going to move on. That's enough bantering about that match. We're going to go to the tag title match
Moving on.
Team Hell No defending the tag team titles against Team Rhodes Scholars.
And this,
hallelujah.
I believe we picked Rhodes Scholars.
We did. Both of us did. Both of us picked Rhodes Scholars
and
to go over and win the tag titles. We were incorrect. However, this is one of the better tag team matches that I have seen them put on pay-per-view in a long time.
It's true.
This match was fantastic. Like, it was a lot of back and forth. It was really good tag team wrestling. Like, it's holding your opponent in your corner. It's frequent tags. It's double team moves, and just a very, very good tag team match. So I was very happy to see that. Both teams had advantages basically throughout the match. Again, like I said, some of the best tag team wrestling that they've put forward in a long time. The finish, Kane's got both of them, and he's trying for a double choke slam.
Yep.
He moves back towards his corner, and Daniel Bryan gets a hot tag. Like not a hot tag, a blind tag.
Right.
Sorry, my wrestling vernacular was a little weak on that one. Blind tag. Team Rhodes Scholars counters, double suplexes Kane. Daniel Bryan goes on top and hits a missile drop kick on Sandow. Kane and Cody Rhodes end up on the outside somehow. And Daniel Bryan locks Sandow in the yes lock, or yes lock, no lock. LMNOP lock. And Sandow taps out. So Team Hell No, retains the tag titles. like we said when we did the preview, when we did the last podcast, we both thought Team Rhodes Scholars was kind of going to go over. We both sort of thought it was their time.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It would have been nice if they would have put the belts on them.
I think so too, but I think it's a reflection, now that I think about it a little bit more, I think it's a reflection of WWE not having confidence in the tag team division right now. I think we can look at it from the outside and say, look, it's time for Kane and Daniel Bryan to drop the tag titles, go back to their singles careers where arguably they're at their best. But WWE looks at it right now like, look, we have tag team champions that are selling merchandise, are entertaining, people like them, they're getting good reactions, and they don't necessarily have more than one other tag team that can take the ball. You know what I mean? Like, they've got Team Rhodes Scholars, and I don't know that there's another tag team in there that they have confidence in. There's good tag teams.
There's good tag teams, of course, but there's none that could really take the belt and go somewhere with it.
Right, exactly. So I guess it's a reflection of that. Again, I still wanted to see Rhodes and Sandow as tag champions because I think Rhodes and Sandow can start building a legacy towards singles success in the same way that Edge and Christian did, in the same way that the Hardys did. They can do that by being a kick-ass tag team, having kick-ass tag team matches, and then eventually they blow up and they have a feud against each other. And then both of them get to rise because they're having this feud against each other. But
there you go.
Apparently WWE's not ready for that, so that's okay. You know, Team Hell No holds on to the belts. At least they're entertaining. At least they're
entertaining. I mean, it's getting to the point now where I don't know. They're getting old. The whole attitude thing, and then going to the anger management and being okay for a while, and now the anger is coming back.
Right.
I mean, what is this just going to be like? I'm mad, anger management. I'm happy, I'm mad, anger management. I'm happy. Is every 2 months we're going to see a return of Dr. Shelby or
honestly,
like
I tell you what I'd like to see them do. I would like to see them bring on Dr. Shelby as their manager. I know you don't like him, but I think he would make a fantastic manager. Like I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority on that one. I just think he'd make a fantastic manager.
Hey, he might.
You never know. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see where they go with Team Hell No from here.
Yeah, because
they almost planted the seeds of a rivalry in the Rumble with Daniel Bryan eliminating Kane, and then Kane basically eliminating Daniel Bryan in a comical fashion, which we'll talk about when we talk about the Rumble match. But it was almost like they planted the seeds for a rivalry, but then they kept the belts on them. Yeah. So we'll have to see.
It's interesting.
So that's it for the basically undercard matches. We'll call them that. Let's move on to the dual main events and the the first in a laundry list of dumb decisions that these guys put on this card.
They put the friggin' Royal Rumble not last.
Exactly. Why in the blue hell, to quote The Rock, would you not have the Rumble match go on last?
Makes no sense.
Makes no goddamn sense.
How had they even done that before?
I don't think so. I think every time that they've had the Royal Rumble, the Rumble match has gone on last. And I guess I understand where the logic was, because first of all, they want to kowtow to The Rock. They want to highlight The Rock as the main part of the show, which again is aggravating because he's a part-timer. Yeah. But again, I have nothing but love for The Rock. I like The Rock, but I don't like where this has gone. But we'll get to that. But putting the Rumble match on last is it just makes sense.
Yeah.
The name of the pay-per-view is the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Why would you not put, like, here, Elimination Chamber? The Elimination Chamber match goes on last. Money in the Bank match goes on last. Survivor Series. If there's a Survivor Series match, it tends to go on last,
right.
like the main one. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. As soon as they announced it's like the Royal Rumble match, as soon as Justin Roberts did that, I was just like, I looked at you and Tyler, and we all just sort of looked at each other, and we were just like, what? So is there not going to be a title match, or like, is the Rumble going to last for an hour and a half? Or, but no. Anyways, it bugged. It just clearly bugged the hell out of both of us. Just like, why is this match not on last? And like I say, they did it because they wanted to highlight The Rock and the stuff that happened with the Shield. They're like, I guess they didn't want to do that and then do the Rumble match, but I think that would have been better. Because if you do that, then you had the opportunity to actually put the Shield in the Rumble match.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I don't know.
It wouldn't make sense to me.
Anyways, so that was really the first major mistake that I felt like the Royal Rumble made. The next major mistake came 55 minutes and 5 seconds later when John Cena won. You know what? I said it on this podcast. I said I was scared that this was the way that WWE was going to go, because they're eternally, it seems, trying to find a way to put the belt back on Cena when he doesn't need it.
He absolutely does not need it.
The company in general thinks that the company needs it. But John Cena is going to sell out arenas, sell merchandise, get people watching the program, and being who he is, irregardless of whether he has the title belt or not. The title belt, to this point, for John Cena is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Completely. You don't need it. You know what? He didn't need to win the Royal Rumble in order to make Rock Cena 2.
No.
He didn't need to win the Rumble, and Rock didn't need to win the belt in order to make that match. They could have came out on Raw last night and said, hey, guess what? We're doing Rock Cena 2, and everybody would have blown up.
Almost
would have been like, oh my God, it's twice in a lifetime or once in a while. It's just, people, you don't need, I found it so unnecessary. Okay. When you have other guys on the roster who maybe you can argue that they're not ready. Like, there's a lot of guys on the roster that maybe it's just like, maybe they're not ready.
I guess. But I mean, there's so many other people, like maybe Wade Barrett or Dolph Ziggler, Kofi Kingston even. I mean, there's people that do their job every night. They know how to wrestle. Mm-hmm. They're 100% technical in the ring, and WWE is just like, meh. Yeah, we'll get around to you sometime. We're going to give the person who no sells the most and does his job selling the tickets, the belt. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's just like, people that do their job really good, like Ziggler or maybe another one like Kofi Kingston, they're not going to get anywhere.
Right, fair enough.
I mean, and it's really bad because then you have people like Triple H or John Cena that does the bare minimum and no sells, and the company like friggin' loves it.
They love them. No, and yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I even argue that like there's more guys on the roster who are ready than people give them credit for. Yeah. Ziggler in my eyes is ready. Daniel Bryan is ready. Daniel Bryan carried Ring of Honor for almost 3 years. Daniel Bryan in my eyes is ready. Kane, Randy Orton. I would argue that Wade Barrett is ready. I know he hasn't been in the company for very long, but I would argue that guy is ready for a title.
Oh God, yeah.
So I mean, and more so than that, how do you ever expect these guys to be ready if you're not going to give them the ball? Perfect example. Batista won the Royal Rumble in 2005. He had been in the company for less than 5 years, and his biggest run beforehand had been him being in Evolution. Now, like, I get he was around, Triple H and Ric Flair, and there's no better way to evolve your wrestling game than being around guys like that.
Right.
But was he ready when he won the Royal Rumble? I would severely doubt it. He looked like a main eventer, but he was still, as far as I'm concerned, relatively green in the ring.
Yeah.
I don't think he was ready to take the ball and run with it, but they gave him the Royal Rumble in 2005. He won the title, and he went on to basically be one of the faces of the company for the next 5 years after that. So how are you ever going to build the star, if you keep giving the world titles and the Royal Rumble wins and the King of the Ring and Money in the Bank, if you keep giving it to the same people? Fucking Cena had Money in the Bank this year. Like, he didn't need that.
No.
God damn it.
I know. It's just frustrating.
It is. And it was just like, when it came down to, the final two, by the way, was John Cena and Ryback. So it was basically sort of a foregone conclusion at that point that we were like, well, fuck, Cena's going to win the Rumble. Yeah. But in the back of my mind, I was just like, how ballsy would it be for WWE to give the Royal Rumble to Ryback? Like, it would have been ballsy as hell. And I'd have been okay with it.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, you know what? He's green. He's very young. He hasn't been in the business for a long time. But you know what? It's better than giving it to Cena. Again, I don't dislike John Cena. This is a popular misconception that, like, oh, if you think John Cena shouldn't be winning all these things, you must not like John Cena. That's a lie. I do like John Cena. I like him as a person. As a professional wrestler, I think he's grown in the last couple of years. He's still not great by any means.
In a couple of years.
But, like, you know, he needs more growth, we'll put it that way. In terms of his in-ring, his character is perfectly fine.
Oh, definitely.
And he is a stand-up guy, and he's the face of the company. And I don't dislike John Cena. I'm going to take a line from CM Punk. I'm going to take a line from CM Punk's big pipe bomb. The first one really that he showed in WWE. I'm tired of this idea that John Cena is the best. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of the idea that John Cena needs the titles and needs the Rumble wins and everything like that. So, you know, I don't know. It bugged me. Just to sort of hit you with some things that happened in the Rumble, basically. The first two entrants, the people that came in at number 1 and number 2, Dolph Ziggler chose to come in at number 1 because he's like, well, what's the difference? I'll be in the Rumble the same amount of time.
It's true.
And I'd rather win it from number 1. So it's like, he's so good on the mic. God, he's good. And then number 2 was a returning Chris Jericho, which seems to me that a podcast partner of mine called Chris Jericho returning at this Royal Rumble on our first episode. So a little fist pump there, sir.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
You heard it here first on the Last Fan Standing podcast. Nick Stevenson called Chris Jericho coming back when virtually nobody else was talking about Chris Jericho coming back for this Rumble. Nick Stevenson called it, motherfuckers.
What?
What? And Jericho came in at number 2, and Ziggler and Jericho lasted a long time. I think they were both down to the final 8 or something like that. So they were in there for quite a long time.
They were.
First elimination of the night was Santino Marella. Is anybody shocked there? He was eliminated after entering at number 5. He was eliminated by Cody Rhodes, who entered at number 3. Very early spot for Cody Rhodes, especially pulling double duty because he was in the tag match earlier.
Yeah, you would have thought that they would put him in a little bit later.
It may be, but a really good showing for Cody Rhodes. He had a number of eliminations. I know we're going to list them here in a little bit. The last elimination of the night, of course, was Ryback, who entered at number 30. He had the coveted number 30 spot.
Yep.
And he was eliminated by Super Cena, who entered in at number 19.
Super Cena.
Notable returns, guys, either from injury or legends or anything like that. Jericho, of course, entered at number 2. Goldust at number 8, and that was awesome.
Goldust.
I remember Tyler, the guy that was here with us. Tyler was really impressed. Like, as soon as the Shattered Dreams thing came up, Tyler was like, "What? No way!" and then out came Goldust, and they did that whole thing with Goldust and Cody.
Yeah.
Which is a match that, like, the internet wrestling community really wants to see at WrestleMania because they're brothers, right?
Right.
So they want to see Cody Rhodes and Goldust at WrestleMania, and they wanted to see it last year, and we didn't get it. Who knows? Maybe we'll get it this year.
Quite possibly.
It was kind of cool. Rey Mysterio came back at number 14.
Yeah, nice to see him.
Yeah, and we hadn't really seen him in a while.
No.
So it was nice to see him back. He didn't really do anything. He was in the Rumble for a little bit. I think he hit a 619 or 2 and got eliminated shortly after.
Yeah.
Sin Cara at number 29.
Whoa.
A very late entry for Sin Cara. I would have expected him to be kind of cannon fodder earlier in the Rumble.
Yeah.
But
you know, a later entrance to him, it's less that he can botch.
That's true. The longer he is in the ring, the more chance he has to break somebody's neck.
Yeah.
And the one that really blew the roof off the place, even though, unfortunately, he had the shortest amount of time in the actual Rumble, come get on the Ho train. The Godfather at number 17.
Oh, God, that spiked.
No, not bad. I kind of held back. I know, I see it, but it didn't spike as bad as my other thing, like the intro the first time.
You can turn up your headphones now.
Wow, 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 wow. The only thing I didn't like about the Godfather coming back is because it's TV PG, they couldn't refer to his ladies as his hoes.
Yeah.
They were like, it's Godfather with his ladies. It's like, no, they're hoes.
It's
like, oh, Godfather and his ladies. It's like, no, they're hoes, damn it. Did you watch wrestling in the 90s? They're hoes. But I think at one point JBL referred to them as rats, which is kind of funny because that's kind of an industry insider term for girls that like to fuck pro wrestlers. They call them rats. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
but
that was kind of cool.
Godfather walked down took him like a minute to get to the ring. He got in the ring. Dolph Ziggler drop kicked him and he went right back out. It's like, oh, poor Godfather. But then he put his hat back on and walked away with his ladies.
Give me my stuff.
Exactly. He was like, he's like, fuck it, this ain't even my whole night. So that was a good return there for sure. So again, Godfather had the shortest time in the Rumble. He was only in for a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Luckily, he didn't break Santino's record for shortest amount of time in the Rumble. It's like, oh no, he was in for like 2.7 seconds or something like that, and Santino, I think, was 1 point something. It was very, very short.
Nice.
Longest time in the Rumble was Ziggler. Ziggler was in, like I say, he was down. Ziggler was in the final 4, so he was in for almost 50 minutes.
Yeah.
So
I kind of wish that he went through and won it. But
I would have loved it. Yeah. What can you do?
What can you do?
Again, if you guys go back and listen to the first episode of this podcast, we both talked about it. We both talked about it being probably the best thing that we could think of happening was Ziggler coming in at number 1, going the whole way, winning the Rumble, challenging the WWE champion, cashing in Money in the Bank on the World Heavyweight Champion, and unifying the titles at WrestleMania. It's like if you've identified this guy as the future, the next 5 to 7 years of your business, smash him over. If he's ready, smash him.
Almost definitely.
But anyways, they didn't do that. They played it safe.
Yep.
But again, what are you going to do? Most eliminations, Sheamus and Ryback each were in on 5. So that, again, didn't come close to Kane's record, obviously, but they each were in on 5 eliminations. Other people that had multiple eliminations, Cena and Cody Rhodes both had 4. Mm-hmm. Kane, Wade Barrett, Kofi Kingston, Jericho, and Ziggler were all in on 2 each. And again, why the hell did this match not go on last? Oh my God! Did you like Kofi Kingston's elimination save of himself this year?
It was yes, I guess.
Right, fair enough.
I mean, he bunny hopped in a chair.
Yeah, he took whose chair was it? It was
I think it was the announcers.
Yeah, it was JBL's, wasn't it?
One of them.
Yeah, he was just like, give me your chair. And I think it was JBL was like, I got to see this. So he gave him his chair. And yeah, he stood on one of those just office chairs, one of those spinny office chairs, and hopped, just bounced. And it's just like, it's so easy for those to fall over.
It is. And I would have liked it if he would have sat in and friggin' launched himself over from the announce table.
Well, that
just kind of wheelied.
in hindsight, that might have made more sense.
That would have been more hilarious for me than to just watch him like bunny hop.
But it worked. It worked. I didn't think it was as cool as the handstand save last year.
Yeah.
But
well, I don't think anything would beat that.
No, it was pretty damn good. Like we said, the return of Goldust and Godfather, we both really, really liked that. Like I said, Goldie had his little showdown with Cody, and again, we really hope that kind of leads to something. And then, of course, Kane and Daniel Bryan, their dysfunction makes a Royal Rumble appearance, because they came in the ring, I think, 2 numbers apart.
Yeah.
I think Daniel Bryan was 22 and Kane was 24 or something like that.
Makes sense.
And so they come in the ring, and Kane and Daniel Bryan are both in on eliminating someone. I can't remember who it was, but they were in on eliminating someone. And then Bryan sneaks up behind Kane and eliminates him.
Yeah.
And then he's doing the whole yes, yes, yes. And then Bryan gets knocked off the apron, and Kane catches him like dance partner style. And
Bryan's like, put me back.
I was like, put me back in, put me back in, put me back in. No, yes, put me back in. So Kane looks like he's going to do it, and he
just drops him.
And like Bryan kind of has his back on the apron, so he's like kind of like going to crawl in. He's like, thank you. And then Kane just pulls him away and lets him fall. So it was, you know what? It was pretty good. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So again, it's like they have their moments as a team, which is good. And again, we just thought it was pretty fucking silly for Cena to win the Rumble, but
it was,
it
was not needed, and it made me angry.
Yeah, it did. It made you rage. Honestly, I thought you were going to leave. I really did. I was like, well, he's gone. But no, you stayed, which is good, and you got to see CM Punk take on The Rock, defending the WWE Championship on day 434. Yeah. About that.
Yeah.
Again, the match between these two, the match itself was not a bad match. Exactly. The match was pretty good. There was a lot of back and forth. Both guys had near falls, like both of them had 2 counts. Heyman got involved a time or two, which was great. Like behind Rock's back, he'd come in and cheap shot him or something. Yeah. And it looked like Punk tweaked his knee a couple times. I don't know if that was just match theatrics or he actually did it, but like a couple times there when he came off the top rope, he kind of held at his knee. So I don't know, again, if that was legit or what it was. Rock figures that out, puts Punk in the sharpshooter, almost gets Punk to tap, but he gets to the ropes. And Rock lines up the people's elbow, and the lights go out. Baby, when the lights go out. If you grew up in the 90s, you know that song. That was by the pop group Five Ive, I believe they were called.
And everybody knows when the lights go out, the shield
is there,
possibly around.
So the lights go out. Apparently, the Shield comes out from under the ring, is what I'm told. They came out from under the ring and got in the ring and grabbed Rock, tossed him outside, and triple powerbombed him through the table. But the lights were out, and all you could see was like camera flashes.
Yeah.
So you didn't really know it was them. But
let's go back before the Shield comes out.
Okay.
And talk about the Spanish announce table.
Oh yes. you know how in professional wrestling the Spanish announce table is the most unfortunate piece of furniture in professional wrestling, because everybody goes through it at least once in a pay-per-view. I remember one pay-per-view I watched. I think it was In Your House. Someone in the first match went through the Spanish announce table. They rebuilt the Spanish announce table, and then someone went through it again.
Oh, really?
I remember that. Maybe it was a WCW event. Anyways, at some point, like 2 people went through Spanish announce tables, which was really, really funny. But so like we say, it is like the most unfortunate piece of furniture in professional wrestling. Well, at the Royal Rumble, it fought back.
It did. It definitely fought back.
Rock and Punk teased using it at a couple, like Rock would take the top off of it, but then Punk would put the top back on it, and it was just like,
no.
Like, he's so funny, but eventually Rock and Punk are up on the Spanish announce table, and Rock's going for a rock bottom.
Yeah.
But as he goes to put pressure down to pick Punk, to try to start picking Punk up, table gives way under them, and they both just fall. And it's just like, I remember that happening to Triple H, was it maybe? And that was one of the ways that he blew his quad out one time. Mm-hmm. It was just like, oh my god!
But it's just the camera comes in, and all you can see is a big smirk on Punk's face.
Yes,
it was like
it
hilarious.
Was really funny. Yeah, it was really funny. He's laying there like out of it, and he just has this big fucking grin on his face, which is. Sometimes it's so hard to separate the wrestler from the wrestling fan. Because as a wrestling fan, he was just like, I can't believe that just happened. So the Spanish announce table gives out under them. Rock just does the rock bottom to Punk on the outside like a minute later. But it was just really funny to see the Spanish announce table just collapse underneath them. It was really, really good. So again, we go back. Rock's got him set up for the people's elbow. And the lights go out. Boom, Shield. Again, we don't see the Shield, but Michael Cole is like yelling, "It's the Shield! It's the Shield!" Yeah. So we're going to guess that it probably was the Shield.
If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck.
Exactly. If it tastes like ketchup, looks like ketchup, smells like ketchup, it's ketchup.
Are you sure?
No.
Okay.
It may be catsup or just regular tomato paste.
Possibly.
You never know. But Shield comes out and does their shieldy thing, and the lights come back up, and Rock has been triple power bombed through the regular announce table, because fuck announce tables apparently. So that happens. Punk comes out. He's got this big smirk on his face. He's rolling Rock back in the ring, and he's asking the announcers. He's like, "What happened?" The announcers are like, "You know what happened? It was the Shield." He's like, "What?" He's like, "It's the Shield." "I don't know the Shield." So it's just like he's playing it up with the announcers. Rolls Rock in the ring, pins him. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So Punk retains the title. Vince comes out and says, "I told you if the Shield got involved, I would strip you of the title." He's about to strip him of the title when Rocky is like, "You're not going to do it. I did it for the Rock. No, you're not going to do it. You're not going to take it from him. I'm going to take it from him. Restart the match." And Vince has to do anything that a celebrity tells him. So he's like, "If you don't do it, I'll leave." Vince is like, "Please, no, my ticket sales." So Vince restarts the match. Punk starts whipping the hell out of Rock. Rock hits him with like one spine buster in a people's elbow.
Yeah.
And then pins him.
It.
And that's it.
He lays him out with two not really good moves.
Well, I mean, like, Rock's spinebuster is very high impact, but to me, it's just like, you should have had Punk kick out.
Yeah.
Of one. I'm not saying, like, I know they wanted Rock to win the belt, and that's whatever. They're going to do what they're going to do. But at least make Punk look good by having him kick out of the people's elbow.
Yeah.
Like, think about it this way. Just prior to him doing that, Punk hit Rock with the Macho Man elbow from the top rope, and Rock kicked out. So you're telling me that Rock can kick out of the Macho elbow after being triple powerbombed through a table, but Punk can't kick out of a spine buster and a standing elbow drop? Because that's all the people's elbow is a standing elbow drop.
I know.
Like, you're trying to tell me that logic somehow works? And
I mean, it's probably just the same as Alberto Del Rio now can manhandle the Big Show.
Fair enough.
It's just kind of like, we got to make this work because this is what's going to happen.
Yeah. This is what we've decided, and now we're going to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah. It sucks.
Whatevs. I was hoping to see Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble, and we kind of made mention to this a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Me personally, I was kind of hoping to see him make an appearance and screw the Rock into the title. I thought it would have worked because it wasn't like if they were going to keep the belt on Punk, because it wasn't the Shield. Mm-hmm. It's still a quote-unquote Paul Heyman guy.
Right.
And it sets up Rock versus Brock at WrestleMania.
It does.
Which I think would be good because neither one of them can work a match anymore. But I'm bumped. I'm just kidding. Easy now. But they decided to go another way with it, and us as quote unquote armchair bookers, we have to live with that. When WWE decides they're going to go a different way, we basically got to live with it, and it's just like, you know what, you've turned shit into gold before, so let's see what you got.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they're going to do with this, but again, I don't like the fact that The Rock, who we know is a part-timer, who we know is not going to be here after WrestleMania, has the belt right now, and took it from a guy that had it for more than a year. The only way I could see this sort of working out really well is if they make it a triple threat match at WrestleMania.
That would be interesting.
Like it would be better than just Rock Cena 2. Or Rock Cena 2.
Yeah.
Have it Punk Rock Cena, triple threat for the title. It at least makes it better than just recycling and just giving us the same crap. Well, not crap, but giving us the same matches you gave us last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's next? Next week on Raw, Undertaker's going to come out and say Triple H one more time, and it's just like, why don't you just redo the whole? Like, okay, we need a do-over from last year's WrestleMania, so we're just going to give you all the same matches.
Yeah.
Except we can't because Eve left. Which actually, speaking of Eve and speaking of the Divas, we were kind of hoping for the Divas match to come up because we needed a bathroom break. But the Divas match was apparently scrapped from the schedule the same day.
Apparently it was, and that's kind of the thing that pissed me off, because I'm like, if there's a Divas match after the Royal Rumble.
Oh my God, yeah, we were actually really, really worried. Like when they put the Rumble on second to last, or just didn't put it on last, we're like, if they put a goddamn Divas match on after between the Royal Rumble and the WWE Championship match,
yeah.
Oh my God, I might have turned the TV off. Like I might have just been like, you know what, you guys need to leave because I am so angry. I don't even know what to think. So in general, Royal Rumble's the greatest pay-per-view we've ever seen. Not so much.
I give it a 4.5
out of 10. That's almost a pass. It's close.
It's close to a pass.
Yeah.
I hate to bash it down so much because it's supposed to be like one of the two best shows.
Well, yeah.
But seriously, in my eyes, they didn't do a good job.
No, and that's one of the biggest things that bugs me about it, is that it is supposed to be one of WWE's premier shows. It's basically their number 2 event of the year behind WrestleMania, and it just. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the people out there listening that thought it was great. I'm sorry to the John Cena marks and fans that are so happy that he won the Rumble. It's like, yeah, he's our hero and he's the guy that's the face of the company. And yes, I acknowledge all of that. I understand. What I'm saying is he's already won a Rumble. He's won 10 World Championships. He has won more championships in the last 5 years than most guys do in a whole career. He didn't need this. I'm sticking to my guns on it. He didn't need it.
Right.
Creatively, there were much better things that WWE could have done with guys that I argue are ready to take the ball. Maybe they're not willing to take the ball. That's a possibility too. Maybe Wade Barrett doesn't want to be the top guy right now. Maybe he wants a couple more years.
Quite possibly. I mean, never know.
No, I honestly, I think our booking on the previous episode would have been so much better. You take Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler wins the Royal Rumble from number 1. Nobody's done it since Rey Mysterio and Shawn Michaels, I believe, are the only two that's ever done it from number 1.
Yeah.
Have him join that club because that's an elite club. He has that. Next night on Raw, he comes out, says, WWE Champion, I'm challenging you. He cashes in Money in the Bank. Maybe at Elimination Chamber or something like that.
Yeah.
Here's a thought. He gets put Justin Books It. the second segment of Justin Books It. The SmackDown Elimination Chamber match.
Right.
We have the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view coming up. It's the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania.
3 weeks.
Yeah, in 3 weeks. The WWE Championship is already going to be defended in a rematch between CM Punk and The Rock. We don't know what kind of match it's going to be.
CM Punk basically granted the match.
He's like, Rock, I'm going to grant you a rematch, which is kind of funny. But which means the World Heavyweight Championship will likely be defended in an Elimination Chamber match, or else why call the pay-per-view Elimination Chamber?
True.
So you're going to have Alberto Del Rio. You're going to have Big Show.
Right.
You're going to have Sheamus, because why not? He's basically the top guy on SmackDown.
He is.
You're going to have Randy Orton, because they're trying to build the Sheamus and Randy Orton feud.
Right.
So there's 4 spots.
Ziggler, of course.
One of the other spots should be Dolph Ziggler.
It has to be.
And here's what you do. Dolph Ziggler becomes the first guy to be eliminated in the Elimination Chamber. Just follow me on this.
Okay.
You kind of had that skeptical look in your eye, and it's like, just follow me on this. Ziggler gets eliminated in, like, I don't know, the first 5 minutes. Like, he gets RKO'd and then gets bro kicked or something like that. He just gets eliminated early. Back to the back. The rest of the match goes on. Del Rio retains the title.
Sure.
Elimination Chamber's raising. Del Rio's like half dead, but he's like, yeah, I'm the champion. I'm here to show the world. Ziggler comes back out and cashes in Money in the Bank on him at the end of the match.
Interesting.
After he's already been through an Elimination Chamber match, cashes in, wins the title. That's the way I would have done it. And I would have the Ziggler having the Royal Rumble win in his back pocket. He's already got that championship. He wrestles for the WWE Championship, and he wins it, and he unifies the titles. I just think it's smart. That's the way I would have done it. It's not the way it's going to happen. But I would like to see. I don't think I want Dolph Ziggler to wait until WrestleMania to cash in Money in the Bank.
No.
Because they're talking about bringing the Money in the Bank ladder match back to WrestleMania.
Really?
Yes. So, well, you know what? Just before we end off in the podcast, here's another way they could do it. Justin books it again. They bring the Money in the Bank ladder match back at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Ziggler does not cash in Money in the Bank at Elimination Chamber, so he still has the briefcase. He has to cash in that briefcase at WrestleMania. So he does. He cashes in and wins the World Heavyweight Championship. Then he convinces whoever, or maybe not convinces, but like, let's say they had matches. I'm assuming they'll probably have matches leading up, like Money in the Bank qualifying matches.
Right.
Ziggler has a Money in the Bank qualifying match and wins. So he's in the Money in the Bank match again. He wins the Money in the Bank match. So he's got the World Heavyweight title and he's got Money in the Bank again. That he cashes in at WrestleMania and wins the WWE Championship. I'm just trying to find a way where Dolph Ziggler leaves WrestleMania with both titles. No matter how confounded it might be, I think Dolph Ziggler should be the undisputed champion. That's the way I'll put it. Yeah. You know what? It's not very good booking.
It's a whole lot of open holes, and
you're
making me think about things that
definitely.
I don't even understand.
It's definitely full of plot holes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are at a minute or an half. I do that every episode. We're at about an hour 3.5. So this is about the time that I think we should cut off the Last Man Standing podcast.
Sounds good.
Sum up your Royal Rumble experience for me in just a sentence or two.
It came on. We had pizza. I was like, yeah, Royal Rumble. I'm watching it with two of, best friends down here. And I was like, this is going to be awesome. We got the Royal Rumble match. We got Rock versus CM Punk. We got a couple good ones. I'm like, there's a Divas match, but of course we can take a bathroom break or go get some more slices of pizza or whatnot.
Exactly.
And that didn't happen. So, but overall, the first couple of matches were really good, and then it's all went to shit.
Pretty much.
And that's my overall really opinion about the Royal Rumble is, of course, like I said, I give it a 4 out of 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
I was disappointed with it, but I wasn't so disappointed as to turn it off or go home or just say screw this, I'm done.
Right.
You know, I could still watch it.
Yeah. That's kind of the way I look at it too. If I had to sum it up, I would say it was a show with a lot of potential that I didn't feel delivered in the way that best benefits WWE in the long term. I'll put it that way. In terms of long term, this was not a pay-per-view that served long-term purposes. It was unfortunately a short-term pay-per-view, which again I just think is a shame because it's the second biggest pay-per-view of the year.
Right.
So that's basically the way that we looked at it. How did you guys look at the Royal Rumble? We want to hear your comments and everything in the comments section below. This is, of course, the Last Fan Standing podcast, episode number 2, a YouTube exclusive podcast from the guys that bring you the No Holds Barred podcast. Once again, just a reminder, the regular podcast, No Holds Barred, is on iTunes now. Look up the No Holds Barred podcast or noholdsbarredpodcast@gmail.com.
You'll find us.
Exactly. You can subscribe to us, of course, on YouTube, youtube.com/user/noholdsbarredpodcast. You're on it right now. You can subscribe to me on YouTube, Bridgewater's Finest, Nick on YouTube, FL100011010101.
Close enough.
Twitter is NHB_podcast, ustream.tv/user/noholdsbarred-podcast, I believe, or just No Holds Barred Podcast. Go to Google, search No Holds Barred Podcast Ustream, and you'll find us.
Can you?
I think so. Google's great like that. It's fair enough. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for us this week. We'll be having, of course, a brand spanking new episode of the No Holds Barred podcast coming up in about a week's time. It's episode number 10.
It is.
Do you think we'd make it to double digits?
Actually, no.
There you go.
I didn't think we would get that far.
No, I wasn't 100% sure that we would stick with it this long, but we're still going strong. We're still enjoying it. So there you go. We also got some really messed up topics to talk about this week. So
nice.
It'll be fun. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for taking the time to listen to us. Last words from Mr. Stevenson. Okay. Last words from Shiki.
Oh, shit, you put me on the spot.
I am. I'm putting you way on the spot, sir.
Shiki.
Where is Shiki? He went to get another beer. God damn it. Shiki!
This portion of the episode brought to you by the letter
Fuck tomorrow! You know fuck that I'm come tonight! Fucking bullshit!
That's what most people think after they listen to our podcasts. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you in 2 weeks' time with the Last Fan Standing podcast. We will see you next week with No Holds Barred.
Sounds good.
See you later.
Later.